So I think for everybody that's watching the news about Mozambique and follow things, it's really difficult to understand what's actually going on. So I often get a lot of questions about who I am and what are my reasons for doing what I'm doing. I'd like to share a little bit of my story and where I ended up getting a lot of attention and being where I am today. It started with elections 2023, the municipality elections, and I was sitting at home and I watched the peaceful marches that Venancio Mondlane did. And I will never forget one of the marches where they were walking on Vladimir Lenin and reaching Praça do MM, which is right in this Maputo city. And suddenly there were tear gas thrown for no unknown reasons all over. And they continued walking, happily marching after that. But it was just such a shock to see the excessive use of tear gas for no obvious reason. And not much happened after that. But obviously because of this, I paid more attention to the last elections, to 2024 in October. And the police brutality was just getting worse and worse. And I think that, both my parents were always very politically involved. And it never interested me, and it still doesn't. I guess it's just started paying more attention after all the things that has happened. But it was really horrifying to see all the peaceful marches for, the minimum. First of all, as allegedly the fraudulent elections, which were confirmed to be fraudulent. But, the human aspect of it, the fact that human life doesn't seem to have a value in Mozambique, and the repression. And I decided to eventually join to sing the national anthem on the street for 15 minutes, which is a right, even though it's being questioned. It wasn't a manifestation, it was a protest towards what was going on. For me anyway, the police brutality, and that the majority deserve the minimum. And then I remember waking up one day and seeing this fake news that was circulating about me, that I'm financing to take down the government, which obviously wasn't confirmed by the government itself, but there was an announcement by Bernardinho, which was the head of the police force at the time, and that foreign entities or individuals shouldn't partake in internal matters, which once again was a shock to see after this fake news. And I assume that it wasn't allocated to me because I haven't been notified, but nor has anybody else, been notified. And obviously it's absolutely insane to even question such a thing. Especially, I'm a normal human being that wanted just to take a stand because of the police brutality, nothing else. And somebody that was brought up believing that all lives matter, everybody deserves decent reality, the minimum. And Mozambique is a rich country and could provide for the population, and it's not happening. So I decided to leave, and I think, it was a lot of guilt to leave because I have that privilege. At the same time, I feel like everybody deserves to live in security and safety and be allowed freedom of expressing our thoughts without being accused. And I felt that perhaps I could work better being further away and not being followed, because I was being followed at the time with police. I assume undercover police or people who were sent, as I've been told as well, personal interest being driven. And, in Mozambique, in the country where people, a lot of corruption exists, you can pay somebody to follow somebody. So I knew that, I wasn't possibly at risk of something happening, or, at least intimidation or threats. So I reckon that it was easier for me to try and, you know, just get justice for the victims, and also just trying to work on getting impartial, you know, courts and all these things being further away. So I left Mozambique in the end of 2024, and I've been working to get my name out, just to share my story, but also share the average Mozambican's reality, because I think, you know, I'm privileged in the sense that I'm still alive. There's a lot of people that are being dead. There are a lot of people that are being assassinated, but also we see, you know, over, I think, 4,000 people detained for unknown reasons. And once again, you know, it seems really alarming that, you know, processes are moving against people that think differently, while, you know, for instance, the police brutality, the confirmed cases where people were assassinated, you know, none of these processes are moving. And it seems that processes move to benefit some and not others. So I decided to get my story out, just to try and get attention to Mozambique and the true suffering, because there's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate and privileged as I am, that could leave and be in reasonable safety, despite knowing the fact that, you know, people are still have been assassinated outside Mozambique for speaking up. For instance, when I take, since I'm in Sweden at the moment, Olof Palme, that were assassinated, and we still don't know who murdered him. Unfortunately, you know, international entities don't reply, or they reply and say that that is their job to you know, put diplomatic relationships, as I feel, above human lives. And for me, I think human lives and democracy goes above diplomatic relationships, but that's my personal view. So I've been getting my name out here in Sweden, writing lots of letters and getting myself heard. Not resulting in much, but I've decided at least that would be the best way to protect myself, because I'm planning to go back in the end of July, so that at least if they decide to detain me or do anything, my story could possibly help Mozambique to get attention, because we really need attention in Mozambique. We really need people to stand up and do something about the present situation. We still have 388 people who were assassinated by the police in one way or another, and lots of people injured, and there's some other people detained for unknown reasons. It really is, if you watch the news carefully, you know, you like me, I mean, I lived oblivious to the reality for so long, and I think I could just go back and just live my privileged life, and I wouldn't, if I didn't pay attention, I probably wouldn't even notice all the things that are going on. So I can understand when people are watching online that, you know, perhaps certain people think that I'm exaggerating, but I get messages every day, and I really want to thank Bernardino for you know, bringing attention to this. To the situation, and also prior to that day in the morning, the fake news that circulated, because it's absolutely insane. It looks like we're living in a horror movie. People are daily disappearing or being threatened. They receive threats, and thanks to all the attention that I get so much information privately, and for the well-being or the security or safety of these people, I don't publish a lot of the things, but it's well guarded, and it really is. We could make a Netflix series about this. Lives are being daily affected by this repression from unknown individuals. You know, we've heard the people from the police stating that they don't know that they are the people, it's not them, and they don't know who it is. And I mean, if that's the case, that's even more of a concern, that they can't do their job, their work, to incriminate the true criminals, you know, because human life should matter first. But we're also dealing with extreme poverty. You know, people have lived for a long time in extreme poverty, and people are hungry. People just want food, work, decent living conditions, you know, healthcare. You know, all humans deserve that. And Mozambique has potential and possibility to actually, change the average, Mozambican lives, and we don't see much of it. We're also seeing more and more traits. If you're looking at autocracy, we're seeing more and more of such happening, and we're looking at more and more situations which is could be a reflection of a true profound dictatorship, which is really sad. And I hope that I'm wrong, and that President Daniel Chapo will take a stand and actually admit and take accountability, and then move on and govern and make decisions that will benefit the majority and not the small privileged group of minority. So, in the end of July, I will be going back, and let's see what will happen, if I will be detained, if they will find some excuse to incriminate me. I have done nothing wrong. I have never tried to provoke violence. I have not tried to finance to take the government down. I haven't done anything else than speaking the truth, and that's unfortunately once again nor often looked by people who have things to hide as criminal, because they are themselves scared and they don't want people to speak up and tell the truth. And that's all that I've done. I want to see true change. I want to see the majority having a voice, and have absolutely nothing personal to gain from this. Rather the opposite. I left my home, and I'm here trying to work towards a better Mozambique for everyone, and not just for me and a few privileged group that could continue living obliviously and ignoring the reality in Mozambique and have a very good life like I had. But it's gone beyond that. I cannot keep quiet anymore. People are dying daily for, apart from the threats and all that, just basic human living conditions that are non-existent. So when I come back, if something happens to me, please use me as an example, please use this for the better of the good, and please just circulate this